Just as we did on Sunday, I feel it's appropriate to address the equal pay lawsuit. There have been some late developments. But first, for those who maybe haven't been following from the very jump, let's get you caught up, and we'll take you back to March of 2019. That's when 28 players on this U.S. women's national team filed a federal gender discrimination lawsuit against their employers, the U.S. Soccer Federation. That lawsuit set to go to trial on May 5th of this year. Now, there was a somewhat dramatic turn on Saturday night, just hours before the game on Sunday. Carlos Cordero, the USSF president, authoring an open letter, and you can see the top part there. We have offered to provide identical compensation to our women's and men's players for all matches controlled by U.S. Soccer. That drew a quick response from U.S. women's national team spokesperson Molly Levinson, denying those claims. Things took yet another turn on Monday night as the latest legal filings in this case were made public. Here's just one. This from the USSF defense. Quote, the job of a men's national team player requires a higher level of skill based on speed and strength than does the job of a women's national team player. It would seem that those comments are defending the Federation by saying that women's soccer is inherently inferior to men's. When you saw that defense, what was your reaction?
Well, as I kept reading, and I'm reading more, I'm getting more disgusted and more agitated and more infuriated. And the thing that kept coming to mind is how, if you're with the Federation, and who, if you're with the Federation, allows the lawyers to come to you and say, hey, let's make this our legal argument. Isn't this a great idea? To not just argue that women are inherently different, but they're inherently inferior. And who at the Federation said, yeah, let's go with that? Because what you don't realize, and what someone there didn't realize, and if it's Carlos Cordero, we've got larger issues, is the damage this is going to cause. I mean, not just to the players, but to sponsors, to the public sentiment, to fans, to everyone involved in the game, when you're basically saying you're not as good and now we've affirmed it to you and you're not as deserving.
I'd like to show another excerpt from the Federation's legal filings that were made, again, public on Monday night. This, quote, the job of a men's national team player carries more responsibility within U.S. soccer than the job of a women's national team player. Julie, you've been a part of these discussions in the past. At some point, there is a resolution. But when you read something like that from the player's perspective, how do you get over that?
It's hard, and I'm not sure. I mean, this is a level when you're reading through pages and pages of documents.
Thousands of pages, yeah.
They're essentially saying something that for a long time we had held in the back of our mind, and you go, no, that's not possible. It's an unconscious bias, right? And think about all the things they could have argued. They could have made FIFA the villain. Right? You could say, look, there's market differences. They pay out differently. FIFA doesn't pay us. And they've made that argument. But when you use the scorched earth argument and agree to it as your policy, you then have to deal with the consequences of that. And I don't see this players group sitting down with at the table, and this is going to trial.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week, subscribe to ESPN+.